What's going on, everybody? I am Perry White. I'm the host of the Jaguar Journal. I want to make sure that you guys tune in live each and every Saturday morning from 7 a.m. to 9 a.m. on 107.3 FM. We also have our affiliates in Alexandria, Louisiana, as well as down in New Orleans. And if you're not able to catch us on radio live, you can subscribe to our YouTube channel as well as follow us on Facebook. It's the Jaguar Journal.
Opinionated, outspoken, informative. The Jaguar Journal. Your source for the latest information on Southern University sports and SWAC athletics. A Baton Rouge sports talk tradition.
Bright and early on a Saturday morning, it is the Jaguar Journal. Good morning to everybody. I am Perry White. Glad to have you guys tuned in. Listen, I am not in the studio today, so for all of you guys that are listening on 107.3 FM, if it does not sound studio quality, because I'm not in the studio. I'm out of studio, and everybody watching on our YouTube and Facebook Live, good morning. I am live in Atlanta, Georgia this morning for the SWAC basketball tournament, covering the teams, the games, the tournament itself. And, man, it's been one hell of a tournament as Southern University women's advanced to the championship game today after defeating Jackson State yesterday. And we're going to talk more about that a little later in the show as I'm going to have my man Santoria Black. And if you've been keeping up with the games, watching them on the ESPN streaming service, Santoria has been one of the guys calling the game. And so we're going to have an opportunity to bring Santoria on. We're going to talk on the men's side and the women's side, because I saw a couple games yesterday, even with the men. Jackson State defeated Bethune-Cookman. Jackson State advancing to the SWAC championship game today. And so we're going to have a lot of basketball to talk about because we're going to recap the tournament itself. I know there are a lot of people tuned in this morning because you want to – isn't it amazing that as I'm talking about the championship game and advancing to it, Southern University men basketball did not make it past the first round as they fell short in overtime to Grambling. So we're going to bring you all that and talk about all that. We're going to talk about the Jag-A-Thon today as well. Taylor DeBoer from Southern University Athletic Department is going to come on and talk to us and give us some information about the Jag-A-Thon coming up, about the efforts of raising money for Southern University. And not only that, going to give us some insight on some other things they're working on over in athletics. And I got a very special treat for you guys this morning because I always say a lot of people in Baton Rouge, particularly around Southern, right? A lot of people truly don't know where I'm from. Some people think I'm from Baton Rouge. Some people not sure where did I come from. But I'm going to give you a little bit of my background today as I'm going to invite on, listen, a very special woman. This woman was influential when I was in high school in terms of getting me on the right track. And not only was she doing that back then, she's still doing it today. Her name is Mattie Collins. And so I'm going to give you guys an opportunity to listen to Miss Mattie Collins as what she does for the community, because she continues to put out for the city of Pine Bluff, Arkansas. And many of you know where I'm from, Pine Bluff. It's a pretty tough place. They call it rough in the bluff, crime bluff. I hate to give it all of those names that they give it, but it is what it is. I come from a place that's pretty tough, but this lady right here is an educator. Let me tell you, life-changing in terms of what she's done for so many young people out of her community. And I know there are people like that all across the nation, even right there in Baton Rouge, even here in Atlanta. But I want to introduce and bring her to you guys because she was influential to me as my AP history teacher in high school, and just the words and the wisdom that she gave me. Because, I tell a lot of people, I went to private school my whole life, right? I transitioned to public school in the 9th grade, and private school, I went to a Catholic school, kindergarten through 8th grade, right? When it came to academics, the bar was high, very high. The grading scale, very high. The teachers that I had, very high. And the people that I went to school with. So I lived in a rough neighborhood, but I went to school at one of the best schools around. And, when you transition from private school to public school, in all honesty, you could tell the difference. And I saw the difference. And what I had to work so hard for in private school, when I got to public school, it became a breeze. I was already 5, 6, 7, 8 steps ahead of everybody that was in my same grade. And so because of that, I realized, when you're young, you start to realize how to get over, how to get by, just to do enough, just to get the grade. And I became that student. I fell into that role of just doing enough to get by. I had lowered my standards, but I'm going to tell you, Miss Mattie Collins, who you guys are going to hear at 7:30, you're going to hear why she's such a great educator, because you're going to hear from her in terms of what she does for the community and young people. And then on the back end of the show, we're going to have Travis Williams. Of course, he is the founder of the HBCU All-Star game that's going to be played during the basketball national championship weekend. So we got a full show lined up for you guys, saying you bear with me if I'm in and out or the quality, whatever the case may be. My man Mike in the studio working it out, and I am reporting live in Atlanta for the SWAC basketball tournament. So I hope you guys are having a great Saturday morning for those that are tuning in. I hope everybody's had a great week. Man, it's the weekend, baby. That's all I can tell you. So let's get ready to take a break, everybody. We'll be back. Stay tuned. More of the Jaguar Journal.
Quincy Richard is the quarterback. And Don, this is a man who's really changed his game from last season, and he's a graduate student as well.
Yes, he has, Bob. Quincy Richard has matured into the unquestioned leader of this Southern University offensive attack. 10 wins this season, and he set school marks for passing yards and touchdown passes. And Bobby's had a lot of help. Only 5 sacks on the season.
He earned his undergraduate degree back in August. He's taking some master's classes, and he wants to be a lawyer.
Here's Richard looking in the end zone. Has a man there. Touchdown, Southern University.
Play clock down to 3. Richard gets it off over the middle. Touchdown!
Holmes goes in motion and comes set on a 1st and 10. Richard completes it. That's Ard. Ard down the sideline. He could go. And finally pushed out of bounds. Richard's run for 10 touchdowns this season. He's going to keep it. Richard goes in. Make it 11 for Quincy Richard. Richard wide open. Touchdown, Chris Davis. Oh, does he love playing football even more now?
That in the flag against Grambling, holding on the kickoff.
Richard looking deep, and It's a touchdown.
But only 3 times did he go down. Twice he ran out of bounds behind the line of scrimmage. It goes down as a sack.
2nd and 8. The deep ball, and that's our man Chris Davis for the touchdown. Time for today's State Farm Players of the Game. And from Southern University, the quarterback, number 15, Quincy Richard, 34 of 42, 552 yards, 5 touchdown passes.
Quincy, on behalf of State Farm Insurance Companies, I want to present you with a trophy for the most outstanding player today. Congratulations.
All right, we're back. It's the Jaguar Journal. Good morning to everybody. I'm Perry White. Glad to have you guys listening. Good morning to everybody over in Baton Rouge listening on Talk 107.3 FM Live, and everybody across the country watching on our YouTube channel and our Facebook Live. Glad to have you guys with us. Very special guest here on the Jaguar Journal. She is the Assistant Director of Marketing over at Southern University, and her first time here on the show. So let's welcome to the Jaguar Journal this morning, Ms. Taylor DeBoer. Good morning, Taylor.
Good morning. How are you?
Doing good, man. Listen, glad to have you here on the show. And, you know, something big is coming up. You guys are going to be dealing with and trying to get everybody that you can involved with the upcoming Jag-A-Thon. And for people that's out there, give us some insight in terms of what Jag-A-Thon is and how it gets going once that time of the year comes.
Absolutely. So Jag-A-Thon is our annual fundraising campaign for our student athletes. So this is our annual campaign that we host to raise funds for all of our 19 sports in the Department of Athletics. And we come in, we have a great time. You guys will be able to interview and talk with our student athletes, our coaches, and other members of Jaguar Nation while also donating funds and seeing where your funds are going when you do that day of.
You know, how important, and I think a lot of times we don't realize how important it is, and I'm going to ask you why, but how important is it in order to get people involved to realize that, man, look, athletics needs funding. It can't run on its own. There's only so much it can do on its own, but it's within the power of the support of the people to come in and help give that extra support to get athletics to the next level.
Yeah, it's very important. And I feel like a lot of people believe that when you submit these funds, it's just going to uniform, like back in high school or elementary, right? You give X amount of dollars and then it helps with you actually playing. And some of it does, but majority of it helps with their studies. You know, a lot of our student athletes are in school, they're graduate students or they're undergrad students, and they're trying to get their degree. And so it helps them go to class. It helps them get their scholarships that they need, helps them travel, helps them eat on campus, get the nutrition that they need in order to stay healthy to play for their sport. And so it's just super important when you're donating these funds to understand where they're going. And those are the places that they're going to. It's not just going to, a helmet. It's going to that helmet that helps that child stay in school and be healthy, you know? So I just want everybody to come out and just see it for yourself, the impact that you're making on our student athletes' lives and the sports within the Department of Athletics.
Taylor, you sound so old talking about help that child. Come on, Taylor.
I'm sorry, because they are. I understand, but like, come on now. Still a little kid, you know, they're a grown woman, grown man, but still, they're still a kid to me.
Yeah, no doubt about it. They're learning, maturing, and growing right there before our very eyes. Student athletes, we typically watch them come in as freshmen. We watch them develop up all the way until they walk across the stage at Southern University. And for anybody that's out there listening, Taylor, who may not even be a part of Southern, may not even went to Southern, but they're listening and hearing your voice there and saying, man, look, the Jag-A-Thon, maybe I can do something to help Southern. What day is the Jag-A-Thon, and what all do they need to do to be a part of it if they decide to be a part of it?
Absolutely. And so you can be a part of Jaguar Nation at any time. You can donate at any time. If you go to www.gojagsports, underneath the marketing and development app, there'll be Jag-A-Thon listed for that. But if you just want to donate on a regular basis, we do have a gift tab at the same website, www.gojagsports.com, where you can donate. But in relation to Jagathon, it is going to be March 28th, 2025. March 28th, 2025. And it's an all-day affair, 9 a.m. to 6 p.m. We have certain incentives and perks. If you donate $50, you'll be able to enjoy our brunch with Ruby Slipper. And if you donate any amount, you'll be able to enter into our softball game happening that afternoon against Grambling for free. Then we also have something else, but I don't want to give that away just yet. I feel like that needs to be a special surprise when they show up in person to come and get this special gift that we have for those that donate.
Are we getting season tickets or something?
I don't know. I'm not going to tell, but just know that it's something sweet and it does start with an S.
Let me ask you this. It's not only with Jagathon, but you doing what you do with marketing and everything else in athletics. What else is on your agenda? What else is happening in athletics for everybody out there to keep up with?
Yes, absolutely. And so we have 2 major events happening this semester and going into next season. And so the first one is going to be Jags Day on the Bluff. So that is our community event that we hold for everybody in the Louisiana community for children ages 5 through 12. That'll be happening on April 27th, starting at 2 p.m. in the AEW Mumford Fieldhouse. If you guys want to register, because registration is open now, you can follow us on Instagram and Facebook at Southern Youth Sports, or you can go back to that website that I was mentioning earlier, which is www.gojagsports. Underneath the Marketing Development tab, look for Jags Down the Bluff, and it'll give you all the information that you need with that, which I am super excited about because we have some super, super talented people that will be coming out and giving you guys some information and doing some workouts, and then you'll be able to participate with our student athletes in a couple of activities within their sport. So that's just the first one in April 27th, Jags Down the Bluff. And then, of course, the one that I know that everybody is excited about outside of Jagathon, right? It is our 3rd annual gala coming up on August 16th, 2025 at the Raising Cane's River Center. And you'll be able to also get your tickets now by going to www.gojagsports.com, and you can just search Gala. We'll be there. You can go to the foundation.sus.edu, search Athletics Gala. We will be there. Get your tickets now. We've had 2 sold-out events for the first and second gala. The headliner has not been announced yet because we're waiting on you guys to bring in those table flows, the individual tickets coming in, because once you hear this headliner, I promise you'll be wanting to wish that you clicked that button today instead of doing it from when we announced it.
So you're trying to tell me, go ahead and get my tickets right now.
I'm telling you, go ahead and get your tickets right now because I get phone calls. You hear me? Everybody goes on my phone, personal, and my work phone talking about y'all have tickets left, y'all have tables left, and I don't know what to tell you because there's only so much that we can do. We open up tables, they get sold out, which I am happy about. So y'all need to flood in with getting those tickets and tables for the gala. Register your kids, grandkids, cousins, nephews, nieces who are ages 5 through 12 for the Jags Day on the Bluff on April 27th. And then I want to see everybody personally, face-to-face, on March 28th, 2025 for our annual fundraising campaign, Jag-A-Thon.
Let me ask you this, Taylor, because I get it all the time, and I tease about it here on the show. How often does somebody call you trying to get a hookup on tickets for a game?
You want the real answer?
I want the real answer for the people.
Every day. We could be out of season, in season. Some people hit me up, face to face, which is not a problem, but I'm a person too. Like, ask me my name first. Get to know me, Give me a little flower from outside on the grass. Do a little something.
Yeah, listen, I get it all the time, and don't let it be Bayou Classic or Homecoming. The inbox on social media begins to blow up. I get calls from numbers I haven't seen before. Hey, I'm like, man, who gave you my number? Man, look, I'm trying to. And then they ask me the most outrageous thing, Taylor. They want to get on the sideline. Like, you want me to jeopardize my access for you? Come on, man.
Yep. I tell people, let's just hang out real quick. Because, this is my name, and we're the standard here at Southern, So if you're going to deteriorate that, I don't need you on the sideline. But if you can elevate it in some way, shape, or form, then you need to tell these people why, where to stand. And I might let you stand just for maybe a minute, and then we'll have to bring you back up so that you can provide that excellence that we have.
So, once again, for everybody that's out there listening, Taylor DeBorg, she's over marketing and development over at Southern University. We're talking what's happening around in athletics to give you an idea of some of the things coming up, as well as the big event, Jag-A-Thon, on March the 28th. Taylor, if anybody out there, just in case they didn't hear you the first time, give them the information on the date, how they can be a part, the different levels of donorship, and whatever the information is that they need so they can make sure when that day comes, they can say, hey, I didn't know.
Absolutely. So everybody who's listening, you need to take out your phones, your notepads. You need to tap the person next to you if you sit with them to take these notes for you. Jag-A-Thon is happening on March 28th, 2025. It is an all-day affair, 9 a.m. to 6 p.m. at the A.W. Mumford Fieldhouse. You are able to donate anything and get into the softball game against Grambling for free. If you donate $50, you'll be able to attend the brunch that we serve, sponsored by Ruby Slipper, that day as well. And then, like I said, we have a special surprise for those who are donating, but that's the secret of mine. And you can always go to www.gojagsports.com to donate today. Your donation will count if you do donate from today to the date of on March 28, 2025. Just look for the Jag-A-Thon tab underneath Marketing Development, or you can always visit us on Facebook and Instagram at Southern Youth Sports. And then I'm going to throw one tidbit in there. You can always email me at athletic_development@subr.edu. Y'all wasn't going to get my phone number today, but you will get my email at athletic_development@subr.edu.
I thought I was going to alley-oop you to get the phone number, but you weren't going to answer. They just going to be a bunch of voicemails on there. I'll get back with it.
I answer my phone calls. I pride myself on answering my phone calls and my emails within 24 to 48 hours.
That's a hard-working woman right there. And that's Taylor DeBorg, Assistant Director over Marketing and Development over at Southern University in the Athletic Department. Thank you, Taylor, for coming on this morning and giving out that information. Hope you have a great rest of your day.
Absolutely, and go Jags.
Go Jags. All right, everybody, let's get ready to take a break. When we come back on the other side, we'll continue the show. Let's take one. I'll see you guys here in a minute. Go get you some coffee, run to the bathroom, whatever else. We'll be right back. It's On the Yard Sports, and I'm Perry White, and what I need for you to do is go follow and subscribe to our YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, as well as Twitter right now.
T.R. Ricks is a fifth-year senior who's getting his first chance to drive the train that Bob talked about. And right now, he's driving it quite well because the Southern Jaguars are kicking butt in the SWAC conference. As Bob mentioned, 6-0 overall in the SWAC, and T.R. Ricks has played so well, over 2,000 yards passing. In the last 3 games running the football, he's been over 100 yards on the ground. The respect factor that he gets from his teammates is incredible. As a fifth-year senior who's never started, they elected him captain. And the numbers he has put up are represented on your screen. 27 total touchdowns on the offense, a pass percentage of nearly 60%. He could be the SWAC Player of the Year on the offensive side.
And they're going to get a huge dose of the best offensive player in the SWAC, and that being Thomas Ricks.
Yeah, what Thomas Ricks has found a way to do is just beat defenses either with his arm, with his feet, or with his leadership capabilities, finding a way to win the games late with fourth-quarter comebacks. He showed versatility and athleticism. He's a tremendous athlete that knows how to win, most importantly.
He really is a leader both on and off the field.
I just think it has come to a maturity level. I have a 4-year-old son, and, when he was born, I had to grow up fast and, just staying in school and practicing every day, trying to get better every day. just so he can have a better future. It's just been my inspiration. So, I just think that's my motor that drives me and, keeps me in the game.
His 4-year-old son, Collier, has not missed a game this season. They throw the football around in Rick's dorm room at Southern, and he says it's great playing football with Collier. 1st and 10. Ricks. He's got Vernon. Vernon makes the catch at the 45.
They can run the entire offense with all those guys in the game.
Ricks to Vernon. 1st down. Holmes in the backfield. Ricks. 1st down. Gage on the tackle, but not until Ricks picks up the 1st down. 2nd and 7. Ricks. Overstreet's got it. Across midfield. Ricks has a receiver downfield. It's caught for a touchdown. Territory. Ricks fakes the pitch. Gets inside the 15.
He's in the type of young men that represent his philosophy in life and in football.
Ricks in a shotgun. He's going to run it out to the 10. And 2nd and 11 after the holding penalty. Sidearm toss.
All right, good morning to everybody out there listening on 107.3 FM around the Baton Rouge capital city area. Glad to have you guys with us always. I'm Perry White. And everybody watching across the country on our YouTube and Facebook Live, glad to have you guys. Very special treat this morning here on the Jaguar Journal. This lady was very influential to me and still very influential to the community in which I come from. And I wanted to bring her on today this morning just so you guys can get an understanding when they say people who make true commitment to the community and changes to uplift our young people. She is on that mission and continues that mission to this day. And I want to welcome here to the Jaguar Journal for you guys to listen and hear from her. Hey, this is my 11th grade AP history teacher, Mrs. Mattie Collins. Good morning, Ms. Collins.
Good morning, Terry. How are you?
I'm doing good. How about yourself?
Doing great. Just great.
This is a true treat in order to be able to have you on because, living in Baton Rouge, going to Southern University, and, once I became involved in so much, a lot of people didn't truly know where I came from. They didn't truly have an understanding of my background, but I tell people all the time, and now they get it. Especially any time Southern plays UAPB, they say, "Oh, you coming to watch your hometown?" But I also tell people, Pine Bluff is a place where it's pretty. It can be pretty tough sometimes for young people trying to stay on the right track and do the right thing. And I was fortunate enough in order to meet you, and you were my AP history teacher in the 11th grade. But I always tell people, it was something special about how you interacted with students. And I can remember many days you pulling me to a side and, giving me some real words. Hey, I'm not talking about not light up the words, some real words in order to get me to stay focused and get on and back on track. But, you're still part of the community with the Ivory Center for Education. And that is wonderful what you do because you get the kids from out of the community and you take them out of the community and take them around the country to be able to see different colleges and just get an understanding of a world outside of Pine Bluff. So, first of all, just thank you for coming on this morning. Do you remember me as your student in the 11th grade?
No, Terry, I taught you world history in the 10th grade. Yes, I do.
Was that world history?
Yes.
Was it the tip? Okay, well, there it is.
10th grade. Uh-huh.
Oh, you know what? I did have, I'm going to tell you who I had in the 11th grade. I had Mrs. Blevins in the 11th grade.
Correct. Uh-huh. Yes.
Thank you.
Correct.
Yeah, so
You're
you
welcome.
do remember. See, that was a test. That was a test.
Okay. Did I pass?
You passed.
And let me tell you, you were such an energetic student and always so much fun. I thoroughly enjoyed having you in class. Your whole class was wonderful, awesome. Just like these kids are today, they're still outstanding. And I thoroughly enjoy working with them still today, even after retirement. They're great, just like you all.
You look at young people, and you have been around you since retired, but I want to ask, I never asked, but what got you into education? Why become an educator?
Well, I come from a family of educators. My two sisters were educators, and I saw how they interacted with their students and how they were so proud of the work that the young people were doing, and they brought that home to me. So I am a proud teacher of 39 years, and I can't think of another profession that I would have enjoyed more.
And then you in Pine Bluff, you were at Pine Bluff High, and listen, I tell people all the time, it was a good school. I enjoyed it. It was full of pride.
Yeah.
Anybody who know about the Zebras, and then I tell them, listen, Miss Collins, they don't understand about the Zebras down in Louisiana. When I try to talk to them, first of all, they say the mascot was the Zebras. I say, yeah, but you just, put us on the schedule and watch what we do, though. That's all I'm saying.
Amen. Amen. I agree with that. And the school pride. Oh, you all had so much school pride, and the teachers, too. The entire school district had that same pride. So when you saw a zebra, you really saw somebody, okay?
See, they don't understand, so I'm glad I got somebody to bag me. I got some backup this morning, but, most of all, let's talk about the Ivy Center for Education and what that mission is for what you do with that.
Okay, we are a nonprofit, of course, and we promote excellence in academics and good character. We are a college readiness youth mentoring program, and we were founded in 2004. And of course, it was out of the desire to improve the social, cultural, and educational outcomes of interested students, 7th through 12th grade.
You get a chance to take those students all across the country. Talk about that because, the crazy thing about it is a lot of students probably never even had a chance to leave the state.
Okay, well, since 2006, the Ivy Center for Education, we've been taking college tours since 2006. We call it Annual College and Cultural Experience Tour because we want those kids to also get that cultural experience and to understand the love, compassion, and the history behind Black history. Many of our students don't understand that, like maybe you did when you were coming up. But we're not just a college tour group. We are a cultural experience group as well. Now, this year's tour will be June 16th through 24th. And some of the colleges we will tour are Prairie View, Texas Southern, Xavier, Dillard, and Southern University at Baton Rouge. The last time we were at Southern, it was 2019. Do you remember?
I definitely remember.
and look, and you all showed us so much love, and we had so much fun until we really want to come back again on June 24th. And we're hoping to get a tour at 9:00 because we'll be on our way home to Pine Bluff. We'll be on our way home, and we do plan to stop at Grambling on the way.
So I hope all the powers that be that's listening, and trust me, I'm going to be working in order to try to help because, one thing I always tell people, for me, sometimes leaving home is good, although there is the institution of higher learning right there in Pine Bluff, the University of Arkansas Pine Bluff, which is an excellent choice for to go get a degree for higher education. Sometimes it's just good, and we see that all the time in Baton Rouge where, students will go to Alcorn because it's right up the road, or they'll go to Grambling where it's just far enough to be away from home, but they can come back home. It's good sometimes to leave your environment, go somewhere, learn and meet new people. And as you say, a cultural aspect, learn something different from somewhere else. And that's one of the things where I've always, even with coming to Southern, look, I tell people all the time, I may not be able to get you anywhere else, but I know for sure you come to Baton Rouge, I'll be able to help you out. I'll be able to put you around the right people in order to try to see, can we get you an education? And I think one of the biggest stories was Ladarius Skelton, who was from Pine Bluff, the quarterback, played football. He came to Southern, graduated, had a pretty successful career as a football player. And, it was an opportunity for him to get away from that environment and see another environment and get a chance to see how we do things in South Louisiana. And listen, the food is a little different down here, Miss Collins.
I know.
We eating that etouffee and them boudin balls and that gumbo. It's a little different. It'll lock in if you're not prepared. And it'll put on a couple pounds on you. Ask me how I know that.
Well, we love it. We love it. And the hospitality you showed us spoiled us real bad. So the kids have told the other students, and they want to come as well. So we're excited about the college tour for this summer. Really excited. And we're excited about coming to Southern. And to see you again, oh, wow, that's going to just be awesome. Awesome.
And I appreciate that because, you know, a lot of times students come and go, and they're forgotten by the educators. A lot of times the educators are forgotten by the students. But, you know, over the years, you've always been that beacon of hope for the community. And it was like that even before I became a student of yours. I always heard about, hey, you want to get Miss Collins' class, you know, but trust me, if you get Miss Collins' class, you better be ready to come in there and work because it's not going to be any slouches. She's going to push you to the max. She's going to get the best out of you. And if any point she sees that you're going to get pulled to the side and there's going to be some words exchanged with you to let you know you need to get back on track. And, you know, for that, I want to tell you here live for everybody, I'm thankful for that. And I love you for that because a lot of times as young people, and I explained it here, sometimes we can get lax. And, of course, young people, we always at some point try to find a shortcut to something, the easy route. And when we do that, sometimes it lessens the opportunity for us to maximize our potential. And when we do that, and if nobody checks that, we'll begin to think that's the way of how to go about through life, just trying to do it a shortcut way, trying to do it quick, fast, and in a hurry. But in actuality, it takes away from the potential that you can be in life and the person that you can ultimately maximize as being. And you did that not only for me, but many other students. And I think for that, that's why you see students even to this day gravitate to you and why you continue to do the awesome work that you do. Because you have, even in retirement, you have not given up on the students. Look, you could be doing plenty other things, but you still focus in on the students. And that's what's important, especially for those who don't understand where we come from in Pine Bluff, understanding that those students, the same way in Baton Rouge and plenty other places across the country, they just need some love and somebody to take the time with them and to show them something different. And you ain't got to just always be ignorant with them. They can take education and respect, but it also, you have to give them that respect in return.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Now, you said a word right there. Respect is a two-way street. The teachers have to respect the students as well as the students respecting the teachers. So it's a two-way street. And talking about love, oh, I loved you all and I love these kids. Love is a key component. Love and care and concern. These kids want to know that you care about them. And once they know that, oh, you have them hooked. They'll work hard. They'll do well on ACT. They'll get ready for college. They'll get ready for the world because they know there's someone who believes in them. So that love is correct, Perry. You're 100%. I got teared up a little bit. You are 100%. We have to love the kids.
And I also understand because, look, I saw certain students, they act one way in one class, but I know when everybody walks through your door listening, but I don't care what you did previously or what you're gonna do after. It's gonna be some respect in here. But it was your presence that commanded that, and it still does to this day. You know, as you went through your journey as an educator, how did you start to realize, all right, maybe I need to try this, maybe I need to try that in order to get these students to realize, you know, to listen to me and understand what I'm telling them could be life-changing for the better?
Involve them in the discussion. Don't just go in and do all the talking. Let them talk also because, you know, I don't live on their street. I don't know what they go through. So we would, you know, talk about the lesson, but also talk about what you want to talk about. Let me learn who you are. You know, what are your goals? What do you want to become? And then help you fulfill your goal. And, you know, just be open to them. You know, don't be stuffy and pretending that you don't care or looking like you don't care. Make sure that you understand that they are truly human beings and they want to be successful just like you do.
And that's one of the things I think we have a disconnect typically from generation to generation where, you know, as generations change, young people in the world that they live in change. For me, the change was growing up in the world of getting the internet, right? Going from tape to CD to MP3 player. Now, you know, I have to look even with my kids, you know, now today I had a flip phone or a Nokia. Now today the phone is everything that we had to go different places to get it. So the phone catches their attention a lot more. And like I talk to my kids about, it's powerful to have a phone in your hand. You just got to realize how to use it in the right way and don't waste your time. And so, you know, each generation has a change, a dynamic that maybe another generation may not quite truly understand. And it ain't worth writing them off if you're not willing to understand. You have to understand these young people because they're the future, and the way that the world is going to work for them when they become adults is going to be different from us as when we become adults.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So we also have to change with the times, you know. We can't just live in a box and live in yesteryear. We have to understand this generation is so smart. And talking about technology, oh my God, they know everything about technology. I am impressed with how smart they are. And when I hear people saying things like, this generation is terrible, they're awful, I say, yeah, we were too. Every generation is terrible and awful. Every generation. So let's work with what we have. Let's love them and help them. It's their time. And when I tell you they're going to be great, they are. Believe me. Just like you.
Hey, I appreciate you too. Listen, it's three people I always say that was pivotal in my life at Pine Bluff High. It was you. It was Mrs. Glover, Mattie Glover. She was my AP biology teacher. And then I talked about Mrs. Blevins. And listen, y'all ladies didn't have no problem telling me like it is, as they say. But,
and
you know
what? I tried not to ever miss school because I didn't want to miss the kids. I mean, you can count the days I was absent for 39 years, you know.
Maybe it was a field trip or something, you know.
I didn't want to miss the kids. Yeah, that's it. I didn't want to miss the kids.
Well,
I didn't.
I appreciate everything that you continue to do for the community. Hey, and also, you know, for everybody out there listening, you're also a member of Alpha Kappa Alpha sorority. So,
yes,
you know, just
I am.
if you want to give a shout out to your sorority this morning, because there are some AKs listening out there.
All right. Hey, my beautiful, beautiful sorors, intellectuals. Oh, I know. Intelligent, beautiful, all that goes together. And I hope you're having a wonderful day out there. I don't know how to ski-wee real good like you all, but ski-wee, my beautiful sorors. And keep that academic excellence going and continue to help our kids. They are wonderful.
Well, Ms. Collins, I appreciate you for coming on this morning, being able to let the listeners of Baton Rouge and everyone across the country get an opportunity to hear about an educator that's out here continuously, even in retirement, still working with the community and making sure that our future and our next generation is still pushing through and that nobody is giving up on them. So I appreciate you and I love you for all that you do and then what you've done for me. So I appreciate you for coming on and speaking with me this morning.
You're welcome. Love you so much and take care of you and your family. Thank you for inviting me.
Yes, ma'am. Talk to you later.
All right now. Bye-bye.
All right. Bye-bye. All right, everybody. That was the voice of Mrs. Mattie Collins. She got me. It was my 10th grade. I'm thinking 11th grade, but now it all makes sense. Mrs. Blevins was my 11th grade AP teacher. Mrs. Collins was my 10th grade AP history teacher. So now y'all got a little bit. And she's such a wonderful, well-spoken woman. Listen, you should have been back in the day and really got her, all right? This woman right here loves her community. She stands up for the kids. And listen, we had a history club. How many of y'all want to be in history club? This lady had over 300 kids in the history club. Didn't know why they wanted to be in it, just simply because Mrs. Collins was over it. So that was the beauty of what she did then and what she continues to do now, even with the Ivory Center for Education, making sure that students are mentored and get an opportunity to leave the community and check out places of higher in terms of schools and institutions of higher education across the country. So I appreciate her for coming on this morning. So let's get ready to take a break. I know Mike is over there looking, hey, if I was in the studio, he would have gave me the eye. So let's take a break. We come back on the other side. We'll close out this hour. All right? Y'all stay tuned more to Jaguar Journal.
It's On the Yard Sports, and I'm Perry White. And what I need for you to do is go follow and subscribe to our YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, as well as Twitter right now.
Talk about offense, we talk about Southern, and it begins with their passing game.
Tom, beyond potent, we're talking about high octane, we're talking about fast break, we're talking about 41 points a game, some 500 plus yards since Terrence Levy has taken over this offense.
Because that young man doesn't drop any ball.
With the legacy that you started here, you got to feel happy to see it continue on with Doug Williams.
Ball now back at the 22-yard line. Levy, no pressure at all. Touchdown, Ingram. The Bayou Classic. Levy on a first and goal play. Throws a touchdown. Grambling comes with a blitz. Levy steps in the pocket, and his pass is caught. One-handed grab.
Sort of in the middle of the road of the SWAC, but immediately they jump on the Jackson State defense. And here's Levy rolling out. And the pass is caught. Ball is at the 31-yard line. Again throwing the football downfield. Oh, and his receiver Hayes makes the catch. See you later. Touchdown, Southern. If you're going to get, I got some free tickets. Look out for it, brother. Going downfield. Oh, and what a play by Southern.
Score. He's played a lot tougher ever since. And this is a free play for Southern.
2nd and 15.
It's a free play.
Levy completes his
It's
pass.
a free play.
Oh, and he's still up.
It's a free play.
Hayes is going to continue running inside the 10, the 5. Unbelievable Michael Hayes. 3rd down. 23 for a first. Levy over the middle. Nice pass that time. 2nd and 20. Levy doesn't have to get it all, but he's going to have to pick up some yards. Here he is throwing. Nice catch made.
Big receiver, Michael Hayes. There he goes.
Hayes makes the catch. Hayes still on his feet. Hayes looking for blocking. Hayes trying to find a hole. Hayes is still on his feet. He alley-oops. He's inside the 15 and drawn out a foul.
Touchdown.
Backfield. Plenty of time for Levy across the middle. Has his man at the 15. You know, I don't know if you want to break the spirit of Terrence Levy or not. Here he wings one wide open down the middle and a one-handed grab made.
The way. 3rd down in 4. And here's Lewis off the catch. Lewis still on his feet. And Lewis is streaking down the sideline. Touchdown. So they move back.
All right, we're back. It's the Jaguar Journal. Good morning, everybody. I'm Perry White. Good morning, everybody in Baton Rouge on 107.3 FM around the Baton Rouge capital city area. Glad to have you guys with us. And everybody out there listening and watching on our YouTube and Facebook. Glad to have you guys with us. I am out of the studio today. I'm in Atlanta, Georgia, out here covering the SWAC basketball tournament, of course, the men and the women. We're going to have my man Santoria Black on here in just a minute. When we get to the top of the hour, we're going to recap the men's side of the tournament and the women's side and talk to you about the games set up today for the championship. Some big games, but most of all, we've had some upsets along the way. It's not called March Madness for no reason. And March Madness, that bug kind of bit Southern a little bit on the men's side. Not even a little bit. It bit them a lot on the men's side. So we'll talk about that. Santoria, who's been calling the games all week on the ESPN streaming service, has the insight of all the games, and we'll break those games down as the tournament has been going. I want to thank Taylor DeBoer coming on, who is the Assistant Director of Marketing and Development over at Southern University in athletics, talking to us about the Jag-A-Thon. Be involved. Hey, give your money today if you want to see Southern continue to increase and get better in terms of finances. And then on the other end, I want to thank Mrs. Collins, Mrs. Mattie Collins. Listen, you guys were in for a real treat. She is a lady, and as you heard from her elegant way of putting things, she is a very, very special woman when it comes to education, very life-changing for me and many others as I was coming through high school, and she still is to this day with the Ivory Center of Education, being able to help those young people realize there's something more to life than just being in your hometown. Go out, see the world, learn something, be cultured. And most of all, if anybody learned anything from me, and you know I'm big about that. And so I'm giving you a little bit of my world of where I come from and the people who helped influence me so you guys can then see Why is Perry the way that he is? I had some good people. I had what they say, it takes a village to raise a child. I had a good village around me, even though I had some tough spots though, right? Everybody's not perfect. It was rough at times, but the potential that they saw in me in the same way that they see potential in everybody else in terms of these young people, it's just, we got to stay on them. We got to make sure. And I love young people when it comes to making sure we can lead them in the right direction. They just need some time and love. So let me take some time right now and love our sponsors, because we got to get ready to take a commercial break. When we come back on the other side, we're going to have my man Santoria Black. We're going to talk some SWAC basketball tournament. So you guys stay tuned. We'll be right back. More to Jaguar Journal.
Quarter with Jackson State leading 10-3. Ball is at the 31-yard line. Again throwing the football downfield. Oh, and his receiver Hayes makes the catch. See you later. Touchdown, Southern. And every time you think Southern struggles, they come back, they make a play. They've done it all year long. Kick is up. Kick is good. Second down and a yard to go. Again, they give it to Lewis. Lewis finds room. Lewis still on his feet. Lewis making a move to the outside. He's inside the 25, the 10, the 5. What a run by Ryan Lewis. 69-yard run for Ryan Lewis. And how about this? Kicks up, kicks good. Halftime, George Johnson along with Charles Mann. Southern trailed in this football game 10-7. Then they reel off 14 straight points, and they do it with the big plays.
And that's something that we didn't think would happen, at least from Southern's perspective. They've been able to methodically go down the field on people and win ball games, not the big plays. You saw the big play by Ryan Lewis running 69 yards, the nice throw by Terrence Levy. This is something that I don't think Jackson State thought they would see in Southern either, and they go into halftime down by 7 points.
Jackson State came in the best defense out of the SWAC. And if you take a look at the highlights, you will see that this club, and I'm talking about Southern, was really able to capitalize on a couple of miscues, and the big plays are the result of it.
And this is Daniel Guy with a nice stiff arm to Bradley Pittman there. And he runs that ball 36 yards inside for a touchdown, makes it 7-3. And then Terrence Levy, quarterbacking, throws a big bomb to Michael Hayes, who gets by Rashard Anderson and waltzes into the end zone for a 69-yard reception. And then the big run by Ryan Lewis, a scat back for Southern, races 69 yards for the score. And that's where it stands right now, 17-10. Southern is on top.
Passing leaders in the conference. Lionel Hayes from Grambling, your top passer. Washington second, but he's intercepted right there. This time the inside handoff,
and the ball was dropped, and Tommy Head.
Here's Taylor in the pocket, looking downfield and looking for Leroy Fields, and this one looks intercepted, and it is.
He's played a lot tougher ever since. And this is a free play for Southern.
2nd and 15.
It's a free play.
Levy completes his
It's
pass.
a free play.
Oh, and he's still up.
It's a free play.
Hayes is going to continue running inside the 10, the 5. Unbelievable Michael Hayes. Hayes now with 187 yards receiving. 169-yard touchdown, 181-yard touchdown.
And Southern's came up with all the big plays.
They lead by 14. And that one is intercepted by Darden. Darden looking for some room, and Guyan will finally drag him down. But we start the fourth right after this. 2nd down and 20 after the penalty.
Oh, he's got a man wide open.
Going into the corner. Touchdown! Reynolds attempting the point after. It's good. A 32-yard field goal. Kick is up. Kick is good.
This is a great football game.
We knew it would be, though. Torrey Thigpen got us out of our seats.
And this is the punt return by Torrey Thigpen. We were just talking about we haven't seen him. He breaks 2 tackles and runs up the sideline. He has great blocking, but gets pushed out of bounds on about the 1 yard line.
And touchdown Jackson State.
The game is a game of momentum swings.
Jaguar Journal, good morning to everybody. We're at the top of the hour. I'm Perry White. Good morning to everybody out there listening on 107.3 FM around the Baton Rouge capital city area. Glad to have you guys with us and everybody watching across the country on our YouTube Live and our Facebook Live. Glad to have you with us. I am in Atlanta today, Atlanta, Georgia. I'm out of the studio as I am out covering the SWAC basketball tournament. We've had a doozy of a week on the men's and the women. Today is Championship Saturday, as teams around the conference will find out if they're going to be able to punch their ticket into the NCAA tournament. But as anything, March Madness has already begun because we've seen it right here in the tournament. And nobody better to talk about the SWAC basketball tournament than the very guy who's been calling the games all week. And you guys have known him and you've heard his voice if you've been watching your prospective team this week. I want to welcome here to the show my man, Santoria Black. Good morning, Santoria.
Good morning. How are you doing? Can you hear me okay?
I hear you well, man. How about that? How you up? What you doing up this early? I'm glad you're up to fool with me, man. Thank you.
Oh, no problem. Well, for me, I'm done with what I got to do. And so I'm getting ready to go back towards Louisiana, at least as far as I can before the storms get to acting foolish.
Well, I first of all, safe travels, man, and thank you for all that you did this weekend covering the games, man. And listen, a hell of a weekend. Let's start on Tuesday because what we're going to do the men's side first because I know everybody in terms of right now listening want to hear about what happened to Southern. But let's start on Tuesday. We had a first-round matchup, Prairie View, Florida A&M, Alabama A&M, and Grambling, right? Let's look at these teams. Florida A&M is the team that really stepped up this year, played a lot better than what we've seen in the past. And then you look at Grambling. Last year's champion in the tournament, but this year it seemed like they kind of underachieved during the regular season. But nonetheless, when you look at both of these teams, Florida A&M was able to get the victory 75-66 over Prairie View in round one, and Grambling with a big victory 73-56 over Alabama A&M. Let's look at day one. Give us a recap of day one when you look at these matchups. Sator, are you there?
I'm here. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I hear you now.
So this was a big game here for the Grambling Tigers. They had just played Alabama A&M the previous Thursday, and they pretty much knew, regardless of how things would turn out, they pretty much knew they were going to face Alabama A&M again in the tournament. And they were able to really do a great job in neutralizing the length that Alabama A&M had. And also, they did something that was so uncharacteristic of them this year. They hit 8 3-pointers in the first half of that ball game, and it really set the tone for what they needed to do. And, look, head coach Dante Jackson says, hey, we got to come in here. We got to make a statement. It's a new season, and no matter what you did to a team during the regular season, this is the tournament. This is when it really matters.
Man, and it really did matter for them is, hey, listen, Florida A&M getting it done. All right, let's move to Wednesday. And before I get to the upset, let's start with Florida A&M, who made it to the quarterfinal. They took on Jackson State. Jackson State was one of those teams right there, second and third all season under Coach Mo Williams. He seemed to have really had them headed in the right direction. Jackson State gets the victory over the Rattlers, 91-76. And then in the game that I think I didn't see this one coming, but it's March Madness. There's nothing you can see coming when it comes to basketball this time of the year. Grambling and Southern in a very, very, very tough matchup. Goes into overtime. Grambling gets the victory, 65-62. Very wild and crazy ending to the regular session. And then as it goes into overtime, and for everybody that's out there listening, when you hear about this matchup between Grambling and Southern, it was back and forth. Southern did not seem to have their best day shooting. 22 of 69 for 31%. They were 3 of 17 from the three-point line, shooting 17%. 15 of 15 from the free throw line, shooting 100%. On the other side for Grambling, they just made the shots when it mattered. They were 19 of 59, shooting 32% in that ball game. 7 of 21 from the three-point line, shooting 33%. And 20 of 26 from the free throw line, shooting 76%. Southern also out-rebound Grambling, 52 rebounds to 36 rebounds. And then you look at back and forth. Southern had his largest lead, and that was heading into a halftime. Their largest lead, they were up by 13. Then Grambling on the back end had their largest lead at 5. But Santori, when you look at this game, a hell of a game when you talk about the Bayou Classic on the hardwood. Two teams who know each other well. Southern got both victories during the regular season in Baton Rouge and up at Grambling against the Tigers. But This time they fell short, and Grambling found a way to get it done in overtime.
Yeah, they did. And I'm going to tell you something. To me, one of the biggest parts of this ball game was the end of regulation. And there needed to be a perfect storm for Southern to send this game into overtime. And I remember telling Tolly Carr when we were calling this game, I said, watch Nunnally because he is going to be the key if they're going to get this ball back. And lo and behold, he was out there on Dozier, got right up on Dozier, caused a turnover. The ball was thrown back in. And then all of a sudden they got the pass down to Noel. We eventually fouled out of the ball game, but he got the dunk to send it into overtime. And it was just incredible. But then Grambling started just really just doing what they needed to do. And I thought that the Tigers played a very good ball game here. And, look, when you have rivals, you can throw the records, throw the seeding out of the window. This was really a passionate ball game between two old friends, as I like to say, and Grambling was able to come away with the victory. But the other game, this was the fourth overtime game of the tournament because Florida A&M Prairie View, that went to overtime on the women's side. And Valley went to overtime. Let's just say Valley and the Mississippi Valley women went into overtime. They won the opening round game. So 4 overtime games early on here in the tournament.
Then we move on to Thursday, right? We go to the quarterfinal on the other side. Alabama State taking on Texas Southern, Bethune-Cookman, and Alcorn State, right? Alabama State is the team who's been right there. They're the only team this year to sweep Southern both times. 1 point in Montgomery, 1 point in Baton Rouge, and Texas Southern. You never count them out when it's in March, right? They are the epitome of March Madness, especially when we get into the SWAC tournament. And then on the other side, Bethune-Cookman, led by head coach and athletic director Reggie Theus, takes on Alcorn State. Let's start with the Bethune-Cookman and Alcorn game. Bethune-Cookman got it done by 9, 69-60 over Alcorn State. And Bethune-Cookman, I have been saying it here on the show all year, they were kind of like, and I'm not even going to say kind of. So, Tori, they were my dark horse this year. If I had a team of dark horse that nobody saw coming, they were my dark horse to potentially win the conference championship during the tournament. Really good team. They play hard, and they showed it throughout the season, getting victories along the way. And then you look at Alcorn, they just a team that was just kind of, right there amongst the pack. They can get a victory here and there, but nonetheless, this game, it was tough, 69-60, Bethune-Cookman over Alcorn State.
Yeah, and, look, Trey Thomas did not have his best ball game, the conference player of the year. He really struggled in the first half and a little bit of the second half as well. He was able to get a couple of three-pointers late, really was able to grind it out. But, I got to give it to Brayon Freeman because he was really the one that helped the Wildcats get to the next round over Alcorn State because he really showed up big, not only on the scoring side, but defensively. He had some big turnovers. He had some big takeaways in this ball game. I thought he had a really good game there. Willoughby had a big game, and I thought Martin, the guy from Spain, was really, really instrumental in this ball game as well. So, to me, it was Freeman that really took it over the top. Trey Thomas did not have the best tournament these 2 games here, not against Alcorn, but he was able to find a way, and he didn't have a great game against Jackson State either. But, for this game against Alcorn, I thought that it was Freeman that really stepped up.
And let's look at Alabama State, Texas Southern. Alabama State has really turned it on here towards the end of the season, getting hot and getting victories, and they got it over Texas Southern, who normally dominates this conference tournament. They normally find themselves in a championship. But Alabama State, 84-79 over Texas Southern. This was a hell of a game right here, Santori.
Yeah, at one point in time, this was a double-digit lead for Alabama State. But, you got Johnny, you got Johnny Jones on the sideline. You can't count them out. So they made a comeback. They were able to get really close in this ball game. Texas Southern, we knew that they were going to make a run, but you got to credit the shooting and the bigs on the inside. Great rebounding from Alabama State in this ball game. They were really able to limit second chance opportunities a lot in that first half, which kind of set the tone in the ball game. And then they got Texas Southern in foul trouble a little bit. Later on, started going to the free throw line. And so for Alabama State, I thought it was a big win, knocking off Texas Southern, which you can never count them out, no matter what seed that they are coming into the tournament.
And we move on to Friday. Here we are, the semifinal game. Southern fans still in distraught. How did the team, the number 1 team coming into the tournament and the regular season champion, not find themselves here? Well, it's March Madness. You got to be ready to play. And Grambling and Alabama State were ready to play. 64-62, Alabama State got the victory over Grambling in this one. Alabama State shot 23 of 64 for 35%. They were 7-25 from the three-point line, shooting 28%, 11-14 from the free throw line, shooting 78% over Grambling, who shot 20 of 55 around the field for 36%, 5 of 22 from the three-point line, and 17 of 18. Close game, and it seems Alabama State knows everything about pulling out close games, Santori.
Well, I tell you what, it was a great shooting effort on this side. There were a lot of threes were coming down this ball game for Alabama State. Grambling was up in this game up through halftime, and then they even had a little bit of a lead in the second half. But Alabama State started on that run. They came down and hit 3 big three-pointers, and then they had a 3-and-1. And so when you start shooting like that at the three-point line, it's big. The other problem is that now then Grambling would put Alabama State on the line a little bit early in the second half, and Alabama State keyed in by getting those free throws. But the Tigers were able to make a run here. And late in the ball game, 64-62, the Tigers needed a bucket to send it into overtime or possibly win it. Michael Stevenson shot a three-pointer trying to win the game. It was off the mark, and Alabama State got the rebound and got the victory. And this was a very emotional game because you could tell everybody left it on the floor. Kentavious Dozier got hurt late in this ball game with an ankle injury. He still came out and finished this game. You could tell the emotion on the Alabama State side. And there was so much respect between these players after the ball game because it was a battle for all 40 minutes.
Jackson State gets the victory last night in the semifinal game over Bethune-Cookman, 71-50. And you look at this game, I think you see it in field goal percentage. Jackson shooting 22 of 48 for 45%. On the other side for Bethune-Cookman, 20 of 79 for 25%. A tough night for shooting for Bethune-Cookman. I mean, they did everything they could to drive it to the basket, to shoot it in the basket, do whatever they could to get to the basket. And you can see the emotions all night. Just was not enough as Jackson State was able to get the victory last night.
Yeah, it was a tough night. You know, you could tell Freeman still recovering from that injury because he had his wrist taped up during the second half. Trey Thomas ended up getting ejected from the ball game because he got 2 technical fouls in the contest. But the other thing here is like you said, they just couldn't find their shot. And then when you start getting Ruffin, who everybody was like, well, how is he not Conference Player of the Year? Well, that's an easy answer. So remember, Ruffin did not play in 75% of the ball games to be considered for that for postseason award. He only played in 65%. So that's why he wasn't first team all conference or player of the year. So that's the rule. You got to play at least 75%. But Ruffin had a big game. You really had a great game from the bigs on the inside. And so when you start having bigs on the inside being able to score, you got great shooting from the outside. You know, it really just, it spelled disaster. And then again, like you said, Bethune-Cookman did not have a good night shooting. Freeman couldn't find his shot, although he still came up big in the ball game when he had to. Then Trey Thomas, again, not the best of games. So when you can't find your shot on the inside and nothing's falling, that just happens. And so Jackson State on to the finals.
Hey, Santori, then you look at today's matchup with Jackson State and Alabama State, man. Talk about the breakdown to today's game.
Well, for me, Alabama State is really going to have to figure out 2 things. One is how you neutralize the bigs on the inside because talking about Jackson State, they are huge on the inside. They've got a lot of inside presence, but they also can shoot the ball extremely well. And, when you talk about Mo Williams and the emotion going into this game, and just think about it, former coach at Alabama State, now with Jackson State University. So there's a little bit extra fuel there as well. But I think that they're going to have to really figure out how they're going to neutralize that shooting and what Ruffin does, because not only is he good from the outside, the dribble drive penetration that he has going back to the inside is just incredible. And if they can get Alabama State in foul trouble early, that's going to be a problem. And remember, Jackson State does a great job of playing the passing lanes in order to deny the pass. And if Alabama State doesn't figure out a way to break that press and cut down on those turnovers, they're really going to have a problem with Jackson State. I look for Jackson State really to win this ball game. I think that Jackson State really has the formula right now. I think they're a great team. Alabama State, I take nothing away from them. When I saw them play this week, I thought that they really played with a lot of passion, a lot of fire. They've got great presence on the inside. And when their shot is on, they're dangerous. So I think Jackson State's got something to be considered about too, because those threes that were raining yesterday against Grambling, Jackson's going to have to contend with that as well.
Hey, Santori, can you hold on through a break for me so we can come back on the other side and talk some women's basketball?
Sure can.
All right, let's get ready to take a break, everybody. That's the voice of Santori Black. I am Perry White. Let's get ready to take a break. We'll be back more to Jaguar Journal.
Quincy Richard as the quarterback. And Don, this is a man who's really changed his game from last season, and he's a graduate student as well.
Yes, he has, Bob. Quincy Richard has matured into the unquestioned leader of this Southern University offensive attack. 10 wins this season, and he set school marks for passing yards and touchdown passes. And Bobby's had a lot of help. Only 5 sacks on the season.
He earned his undergraduate degree back in August. He's taking some master's classes, and he wants to be a lawyer.
Here's Richard looking in the end zone. Has a man there. Touchdown, Southern University.
Play clock down to 3. Richard gets it off over the middle. Touchdown.
Holmes goes in motion and comes set on a 1st and 10. Richard completes it. That's Ard. Ard down the sideline. He could go. And finally pushed out of bounds. Richard's run for 10 touchdowns this season. He's going to keep it. Richard goes in. Make it 11 for Quincy Richard. Richard wide open. Touchdown, Chris Davis. Oh, does he love playing football even more now?
That in the flag against Grambling, holding on the kickoff.
Richard looking deep, and it's a touchdown.
But only 3 times did he go down. Twice he ran out of bounds behind the line of scrimmage. It goes down as a sack.
2nd and 8. The deep ball, and that's our man, Chris Davis, for the touchdown. Time for today's State Farm Players of the Game. And from Southern University, the quarterback, number 15, Quincy Richard, 34 of 42, 552 yards, 5 touchdown passes.
Quincy, on behalf of State Farm Insurance Companies, I want to present you with a trophy for the most outstanding player today. Congratulations.
All right, we're back. More to Jaguar Journal. Good morning, everybody. You're listening on 107.3 FM around the Baton Rouge capital city area. And everybody listening across the country and the world on our YouTube and Facebook Lives. Good to have you guys with us. Got my man Santoria Black Rock and Roller with me this morning. He's been calling the games. I'm in Atlanta. He's in Atlanta. It is the SWAC basketball tournament, March Madness. And now we're transitioning. We talked about the men's side. Today's championship is going to be Jackson State versus Alabama State on the men's. Now let's transition to the women. And Santoria, let's start back on Tuesday. Prairie View versus Bethune-Cookman goes into overtime, and Mississippi Valley and Florida A&M goes into overtime. You talked about both these games. Prairie View gets the victory 57-52. Valley, who went on a run towards the end of the season, kept it going against Florida A&M in overtime, 68-65. We got Santoria, you there?
I am here, sir.
There you go.
I thought that Mississippi Valley, for all of the adversity that they have been through this year, for them to get this kind of win was so emotional. I mean, how long has it been since we've seen a Mississippi Valley State women's team in the tournament, let alone just a team from Valley? And so for them to get here, especially winning 3 in a row to end the season, they got a big win on the road against Jackson. And then for them to get here to the tournament and beat Florida A&M, I just think speaks volumes for what this program has really done. They really had some great play, very aggressive, and just extremely big heart with a passionate coaching staff. So for them to get that win, I thought was really big in overtime. Now, when you look at that second game with Bethune-Cookman, Prairie View just did a great job in overtime, just keeping that ball going to the inside, and that's what they needed. Coach Sandy Pugh has been down this road before. I mean, she has won championships with Southern University. She's been able to be successful at Prairie View A&M University. And I thought that they did a really good job with Bethune-Cookman and then keeping some of their key players out of the game late. I thought that was really big.
Then we move on to Wednesday, and Prairie View and Valley both go into the quarterfinal. On Wednesday, Prairie View took on a rival, Texas Southern. These two schools know each other oh so well coming out of Texas. And then Valley taking on the number 1 seed in the SWAC regular season champion, Southern University on the women's side. Coach Carlos Funches was named the coach of the year on the women's side. 63-43, Southern over Valley, and 69-49, Texas Southern over Prairie View. Let's look at that Texas Southern over Prairie View game. A 20-point victory for Texas Southern over their rival, the Panthers.
Yeah, Texas Southern just had the shot going. They were able to get the bigs going on the inside. Belton had a good game coming in off the bench. And, you know, when you can start getting that shot going, when you can start getting three-pointers going, and the defense was just absolutely incredible against Prairie View. You know, Texas Southern was on a mission in this game. They did not want to lose to Prairie View. They really, from wire to wire, just really dominated Prairie View in this ball game. Then, of course, you know, when you look at Southern Valley, you know, look, I think that this year's team is just probably one of the most incredible teams that I've seen from Southern. Even though they had a great experience last year, they had tremendous experience the year before that. But there's something about this team here. They don't commit a lot of turnovers. They don't make, a ton of mistakes. And again, just too much shooting, too much inside presence and defense from Mississippi Valley.
Then we move on, Santori. Listen, Wednesday we go to Thursday, Alcorn State. Now, this was a team who was my dark horse on the women's side because Alcorn State has picked up victories pretty much over everybody in the conference. It's just been a lack of consistency on their end. And then you look at against Alabama A&M. Coach Don Thornton comes over from UAPB, takes over the Alabama A&M program. Listen, had a hell of a record this year, won 20 games. Then you look on the other side, Grambling and Jackson. Let's start with the upset of the tournament so far on the women's side. Alcorn getting the victory 56-53 over Coach Don Thornton and Alabama A&M in the quarterfinals.
Well, you know, her name is Destiny Brown. When she gets going, it is very hard to stop Alcorn State. And especially when you talk about rebounding. And she even said this in the press conference. It's not about the scoring so much, but what she does on defense and getting rebounds is really big. They are the lull you to sleep type of offense. They're going to run that shot clock down to 5 seconds, 4 seconds before they go. And what is Alabama A&M? They like to run up and down the floor. They like to go. And so now Alabama A&M was forced to be in a half-court game. Alcorn did a great job defensively, limiting some of the second chance opportunities for Alabama A&M. Really got them away from their game. And then, you know, again, look, you know, when he looked at this scouting report talking about head coach Nate Kilbert, he knew this was going to be a real challenge here for Alabama A&M with their length, their size, their shooting ability. A&M got into foul trouble then, and that really hurt them. But, you know, this was a team in Alcorn State that really played big in this game against Alabama A&M. And it just came down to Alcorn started getting on the line early. They started continuing to play tough defense. They got Alabama A&M in some compromising positions, although there were some runs. The Bulldogs weren't going away, but credit to Don Thornton. First year at Alabama A&M, setting a new program record, getting to 20 wins in the season. And there's a lot of great things coming up for Alabama A&M. I talked to their athletic director, Dr. Paul Bryant, and he said that this team, if this is any indication of what is coming for Alabama A&M women's basketball, it's going to be a great program.
Then you look at the other game, Jackson State and Grambling. Both these teams battled it out. Jackson State finding a way to get it done. 57-47, 10-point victory in the quarterfinal over the Tigers. Tigers and Tigers in this one.
Yeah, Jackson State, this was a close game late in the contest as well. There were some opportunities for Grambling to possibly get the tie and even get the win late in the ball game. They didn't get a good shot off towards the end of the ball game. Head coach Courtney Simmons got frustrated and got another technical foul. But, you know, look, you got to credit Grambling for what they did this year. Jackson is just an incredible basketball team. I think that when you look at what head coach Margaret Richards had to deal with coming in there, you know, Tamika Reed leaves late in April for UNC Charlotte. Margaret Richards was hired May 1st and named the head coach at Jackson State. So you think about the amount of time that she had in order to assemble her coaching staff, and then, which I think was Dylan Howard, I believe his name, the former head coach at Alabama A&M, who is now with her at Jackson State University. She had so little time in order to assemble a staff, so little time. And, you know, what she's been able to do with this team, and she only had 3 players that had on-campus visits. Everybody else was Zooms and phone calls. So I think that this says a lot about Jackson State University, and they've got a bright future ahead.
Let's go to the semifinal game, and let's start with Alcorn State versus Texas Southern. Texas Southern at one time was red hot in this conference, 10-0 at one time on a 10-game win streak. Then they came to Louisiana. They lost back-to-back games against Southern and Grambling and kind of cooled off a little bit. But nonetheless, they were still a formidable opponent and a tough team to play at any given night in this conference. Alcorn State finds a way to get it done by 10, 65-55 to knock Texas Southern out of there, and Alcorn State do what they do this time of year like they did last year, find a way to win.
You know, I told head coach Nate Kilbert, this is like Groundhog Day for you guys. I said, you went into the tournament last year, you beat the number 3 seed in Southern. You turn around, you beat the number 2 seed in Grambling, then you get to the championship game with Jackson State. What do you do this year? You beat the number 3 seed in Alabama A&M. You turn around and beat the number 2 seed in Texas Southern. Now you face the number 1 team in Southern. And he told me, he said, we love this Groundhog Day, except we want to turn that movie around when it comes to the finals. We don't want the same picture to happen in the finals. And so, but what I thought was really interesting in this contest is in the scouting report, one of the things that he said he wanted to do is get some of those Texas Southern players who hit 3-pointers off of their spots. And I thought that's what they really did a great job of, is pulling Texas Southern away from being comfortable at the 3-point line. They were able to get out early on them. It was really a tough game for Texas Southern because they tried to work back to the inside, which, remember, their game is being able to shoot the 3-pointer as well. Now Alcorn comes to the other side. You slow a Texas Southern team down that likes to run with the basketball. And, again, that lull-you-to-sleep offense where they keep rolling around. And Destiny Brown continues. She had a double-double in this ballgame. She continued to wreak havoc on the boards on the offensive and defensive side of the basketball. And, you know, look, a much bigger team when you talk about Texas Southern, a better shooting team overall when you talk about them. But when you can put down defense, you can get them into that coffin corner when you're making them turn the ball over and not allowing second chance opportunities, and then hitting your free throws. Texas Southern put all 4 on the line really early in the fourth quarter. You know, look, you're going to come away with a victory.
Then let's go to the game last night that was back and forth. And I saw you after the game. I said, man, do you still have a voice? Back and forth between Southern and Jackson. Jackson, of course, defending champions coming into this tournament. They won it all last year with Coach Tamika Reed, of course, under the helm. And Coach Carlos Funches continuously finds a way to keep his team competitive in this league. 51-47 as Southern University women's basketball gets the victory over their rival Jackson State. Southern shoots 17 of 51 in this ball game, shooting 33%. They were 5 of 15 from the three-point line, shooting 33%, and 12 of 17 from the free throw line, shooting 70%. On the other side for Jackson State women's basketball, 13 of 47, shooting 27%. Santori is 6 of 19 from the three-point line, shooting 31%, and 15 of 19 from the free throw line, shooting 78%. Jackson State women out-rebounded Southern. They had 40 rebounds to Southern's 29 rebounds, but nonetheless, this game went back and forth. It came down to the end. Southern had a lead in this game, and they ultimately kind of squandered things away, but then they found a way to regain the lead late when it mattered, and they pulled away with the victory.
Yeah, they did. You know, look, Talia Gilworth from Jackson State, she got hers. She had 13 points. I think Jalea Cotton, she had 13 points. Zoe Cooper had 10 rebounds in the ball game. But I think what happened here is, if you remember back in January, if I'm not mistaken, when these two teams played, Jackson State only had 14 made field goals in that ball game. They had 13 yesterday. And again, another team that could not find the shot to go down outside, couldn't find it to go down on the inside. They did make some runs, and they had some great runs in this ball game. But, you know, when it really mattered here, Southern did a great job in the fourth quarter closing things out. Although they didn't hit a three-pointer in the third quarter, here's what they were. They were 5 of 7 at the free throw line, and when it counted, they were able to come up big. The other thing is they came up big with stopping them late. Now, Gordon had a big game. I think she had 11, and I want to say Sanaya Reed was in double figures with 10 points. But, you know, look, Southern did a great job shooting the basketball, and we all know what Southern likes to do. They like to be on goal, up and down the floor. Jackson State tends that they don't want to be in that. They don't want to have to run up and down the floor if they don't have to. Southern did a great job with that. Here's the other thing that I think Southern did a great job of. It's not on the stat sheet. they did not get caught in the Jackson State trap in the coffin corner coming across the half-court line. They had a propensity this year. That's one of the weaknesses to me that Southern had is they get across that half-court line on the sideline and get caught there and turn the ball over. They did not do that a lot yesterday at all. They really did a great job. And I thought that this team did extremely well. And, look, now you get ready for a big final.
Big final today. Alcorn Southern, both teams right down the highway, scenic highway, Highway 61, however you want to do it. They know each other all too well. And for Southern, looking at Alcorn, this was a team that knocked them out of the tournament last year. And for Alcorn, looking at Southern, Alcorn was the only team aside from Alabama A&M to come in and beat Southern at home this year in overtime. So this is going to be a hell of a game between both these ball clubs, and I'm looking forward to this one with Alcorn and Southern University.
I asked Coach Funches, and I said, when Aaliyah Fondo, she made 2 threes in 10 seconds in the championship game, and then Southern made 3 threes overall in 13 seconds. I said, you want to repeat the performance of that? He said, I don't know if my heart can take that. I just want them to have a good ball game, play good defense, execute well on offense, make sure that they stop Alcorn. There's a storyline here for Alcorn. You may not have Destiny Brown here today, depending on what her condition is, because she did suffer a mild concussion from what we heard yesterday at the end of that ball game. So whether or not she plays could be really big for Alcorn State. If she is able to get into the ball game and does play today, I think it's going to be really about who plays better defense here and turns the other team over. Both teams are good. Southern likes to run. Alcorn likes to lull you to sleep. I think if Destiny Brown does play here in this ball game, they're really going to have a big game from Liz. They're going to have a big game from their bigs on the inside to neutralize that and box her out. If she doesn't play, Southern can take advantage of the bigs on the inside and then, of course, really work them around in the shooting.
Santori, man, I appreciate you coming on today, man, and talking to us and giving us a recap of the game, man. Appreciate all that you've done all week and calling these games because, man, you've been a busy guy. I'm glad you still got a voice in order to speak with me this morning, man, but appreciate you, and that's the voice of Santori, black man. Thank you for all that you've been doing, man.
Absolutely. And look, people ask me how they can follow me, man. Usually I don't, I forget. My daughter has to remind me, but you can follow me on Instagram at SanBlack75, SAN, that's in like in Nancy, Black75. You can also find me on Facebook. And look, man, it's always a pleasure joining you guys. And look, continued success on all that you do, my brother.
All right. Thank you, Santori. All right, everybody, let's get ready to take a break. We'll come back. We'll continue the show. You guys stay tuned. More of the Jaguar Journal. It's On the Yard Sports, and I'm Perry White, and what I need for you to do is go follow and subscribe to our YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, as well as Twitter right now.
T.R. Ricks is a fifth-year senior who's getting his first chance to drive the train that Bob talked about. And right now, he's driving it quite well because the Southern Jaguars are kicking butt in the SWAC conference. As Bob mentioned, 6-0 overall in the SWAC, and T.R. Ricks has played so well. Over 2,000 yards passing. In the last 3 games running the football, he's been over 100 yards on the ground. The respect factor that he gets from his teammates is incredible. As a fifth-year senior who's never started, they elected him captain. And the numbers he has put up are represented on your screen. 27 total touchdowns on the offense, a pass percentage of nearly 60%. He could be the SWAC Player of the Year on the offensive side.
Best, and they're going to get a huge dose of the best offensive player in the SWAC, and that being Thomas Ricks.
Yeah, what Thomas Ricks has found a way to do is just beat defenses either with his arm, with his feet, or with his leadership capabilities, finding a way to win the games late with fourth-quarter comebacks. He showed versatility and athleticism. He's a tremendous athlete that knows how to win, most importantly.
He really is a leader both on and off the field.
I just think it has come to a maturity level. I have a 4-year-old son, and, when he was born, I had to grow up fast and, just staying in school and practicing every day, trying to get better every day, just so he can have a better future. It's just been my inspiration. So, I just think that's my motor that drives me and, keeps me in the game.
His 4-year-old son, Collier, has not missed a game this season. They throw the football around in Rick's dorm room at Southern, and he says it's great playing football with Collier. 1st and 10. Ricks. He's got Vernon. Vernon makes the catch at the 45.
They can run the entire offense with all those guys in the game.
Ricks to Vernon. First down. Holmes in the backfield. Ricks. First down. Gage on the tackle, but not until Ricks picks up the first down. 2nd and 7. Ricks. Overstreet's got it. Across midfield. Ricks has a receiver downfield. It's caught for a touchdown. Territory. Ricks fakes the pitch. Gets inside the 15.
He's in the type of young men that represent his philosophy in life and in football.
Ricks in a shotgun. He's going to run it out to the 10. And 2nd and 11 after the holding penalty. Sidearm toss.
All right, we're live. We're back. It's the Jaguar Journal. Good morning to everybody. Glad to have you guys with us. I am Perry White. Want to thank Santoria Black coming on, recapping the men and the women's side to the SWAC tournament. Man, been one hell of a week, and now it's championship Saturday. Today, somebody is going to punch that ticket. On the men's side, it's going to be between Jackson State and Alabama State. On the women's side, it's going to be between Alcorn State and Southern. So we're going to have some great ball games lined up. And something else that's coming up here that's going to be great during the national championship weekend of basketball is going to be the HBCU All-Star basketball game, where the best collection of talent around HBCU basketball will come together and play for a national audience. And nobody better to talk about that than the founder of the game itself, my man Travis Williams. Good morning, Travis.
Good morning, man. I appreciate you having me on, man. Keep up the great work you're doing, man, in this space.
Appreciate you, man, and glad to have you on because you keep up the great work you're doing in this space by highlighting our best players for the world to see on a big weekend doing national college, doing the basketball national championship, and no better time to be able to do it. Talk to us about this year's big event, man. You've been rocking and rolling, and I've had an opportunity to watch you throughout this journey just as this thing went from an idea to a reality and now keeping it going, man.
I just say, and I always start off with this, thank you, God, thank you, God, thank you, God, for the vision. After 17 successful years, God placed this vision in my spirit. I love coaching, but when God is speaking to you, I'm just being obedient and faithful in this walk. And as you mentioned, we're in our 4th year hosting the 4th annual men's HBCU All-Star game, and I'm truly proud and grateful and humble to say the first ever women HBCU All-Star game ever during the 40-plus year history of the NCAA March Madness Final Four Tournament Championship weekend. And so what an opportunity to bring greater equality to our women in this space. And so we're just truly excited, as you mentioned, show the world that HBCUs matter and celebrate the best in Black college basketball during college basketball biggest weekend.
Now, this year, talk to us about this year, the location, where we at, what we're doing, how this thing's supposed to look in 2025, Travis.
Oh, man, I appreciate you. As you know, we've had consecutive back-to-back sellouts. And so April 2022 in New Orleans, April 2023 at Texas Southern University, first ever sellout in the great city of Houston is shut down. They showed out and showed us love. April 2024 in Phoenix, where no HBCUs exist in that part of the country, the Valley of the Sun, the second consecutive sellout. So in less than 3 weeks, we're hosting this historic event at the legendary Freeman Coliseum in the great city of San Antonio, the East Side community of San Antonio, the pillar of the community where a lot of our community grew up understanding the magnitude of Freeman Coliseum. They haven't hosted an event of this magnitude since the Las Vegas Aces, that the period WNBA team left there, the 2014 or 2015 season. This will be a historic moment for the great city of San Antonio at Freeman Coliseum on Sunday, April 6th. The epic doubleheader, the 4th annual men and the first ever women in an epic doubleheader. And I'm telling you, all eyes going to be on the great city of San Antonio. If you don't have your tickets now, I'm encouraging you to get your tickets now because you don't want to be on the outside looking in for this 3rd consecutive sellout with over 8,000 plus in the Freeman Coliseum. It is a truly outstanding moment for our HBCU basketball community.
And, you know, you talk about the HBCU basketball community. And what you've been able to do is bring that community to a national television audience in the past with CBS. Is that same partnership going to be there this year?
Well, I'm glad you asked that question. We just announced 2 days ago, CW Network is our new broadcasting partner this year. So we're looking forward. We were truly grateful and thankful for the CBS partnership. We had 3 historic years, 3 historic runs, and they laid the foundation with our great partnership for that. But we're truly excited to have this new partnership with CW Sports to really be able to elevate our men's basketball. But stay tuned. You'll be ready to hear what we're going to do with our women's basketball on a national and global platform, too. So we'll be making that announcement as soon for our broadcast partners with our women's basketball as well. It's an exciting time. And so I'm just, like I said, I always start by just truly grateful and thankful to God for placing a vision. There are a lot of moving parts in this. You understand the climate of what's going on around the world with our HBCUs and all these different things. But one thing I do know, that sports bring everybody together. One thing I do know, that we have some of the most talented HBCU student athletes across the country and global around the world that don't get the notoriety, that don't get the shine. That's why I'm fighting in this space to change that trajectory. And when you look at the stats, 450 NBA players, 30 NBA teams, 144 WNBA players, and 12 WNBA teams, and there's zero representation of our HBCUs, it shocks you just to even say that. It disappoints me even to read those stats to you. That's why we're fighting to change. We have some talented young men and women, and we're seeing it that as the SWAC and the MEAC is going on, as the CIAA and SIAC finish up, and our CIAA and SIAC teams are competing in the NCAA tournament. We have to continue to push the narrative, let folks know we're just as talented, but we just need the same type of exposure as some of our Power 5 and Power 4 colleagues. And so it's upon us, to every viewer that is listening to this or watching your show live, to support this HBCU All-Stars movement, HBCU All-Star Game movement, because the reality of all of this, if we don't support us, who else is going to support us? So there's no excuses. The time is now. And so we must understand that the magnitude. Tomorrow, on Monday, we will release the top 24 men and women, our teams, official teams, out of a list of 100 plus HBCU All-Stars currently on our watch list now, representing 48 HBCUs to have the opportunity to participate in the game. The 4 premier black college conferences, the MEAC, the SWAC, CIAA, SIAC, and our independent teams we call Tennessee State, Hampton, North Carolina, because they play North Carolina A&T, because they play a non-HBCU conference. The shift is now, but we must continue to support us.
Travis, the passion. Hey, don't fire me up this morning. That's that coaching you, coach. Hey, that's the coaching.
I'm sorry that went out. I'm sorry it was a mistake. I'm sorry it went out. I'm sorry. Repeat that. I'm sorry.
I was saying you got me fired up. I said that's just the coaching you, man. You give me the pregame speech.
Oh, you know what I'm saying? It's passion. That's why I said this is a truly God-driven vision. And that's the beauty of all of this. God took me out of space of coaching, but this continues to keep me around, Coach, because it's much needed. We understand the landscape of where we are in this space. And this fact, we have some of the best coaches in the country that don't get the notoriety, that don't get the shine as well. So this is for the entire culture. And I want to say this to say is that basketball is bigger than basketball when we go in these hosting cities. Let me tell you some of the ancillary events that are surrounding our city. As I mentioned, all those different cities, New Orleans, Houston, Phoenix. If you go to those cities, you'll see a legacy project that we've left behind. We have left legacy courts in all of those areas as a give back to the community, as a safe space for young folks that sometimes use the basketball court to get off the street, to stay off the trouble. It's their safe space. That's the only thing we've been proud of. We've hosted college admissions fair. During those previous 3 HBCU All-Star games, we've touched over 8,000 students with our All-Stars. And we invite all 100 plus of our HBCUs to participate. So in 3 weeks, our ultimate goal, and we've challenged San Antonio, is to take us over 10,000 students that we have been able to impact and expose to our HBCUs that are there coming there for our college admissions and scholarship fairs. Our internship program that we have currently close to 100 and 150 students ready, locked, and loaded to come to San Antonio. We've touched over 1,000 students in our internship program. The officials that officiate our games, they have got bumped up in promotions to Power 5, SEC conference, all that good stuff, because that's a part of what we do. Pro Day Combine. We actually do a Pro Day Combine on Friday in San Antonio prior to the All-Star game. Why do we do that? Think about it. I just gave you the stats. So if you're going to come there, our NBA colleagues, which we're great friends with, helping to push the narrative, you see the NBA and the things they're doing in this space, we're thankful for that. But the reality, they'll come there during those Final Four games and watch those Power 5 teams participate. We make it easy for you. We hired the same testing company. BAM Testing Company is the same company that does all the NBA pre-draft, on-court measurements, agility, vertical, all that stuff. We hired that same company to partner with us and going to do the same thing for All-Stars, and then have a Pro Day Combine and invite all 30 NBA teams and WNBA teams to come to and participate. That's important for us. That is really important for us, because I just mentioned the stats for you. So we just moving, going to continue to move the needle. We're going to continue to provide these national global platforms for our All-Stars. But more importantly, we need our HBCU alums, supporters, key stakeholders. We need the support. This is about all of it. It's inclusive of everyone, not just HBCUs. If you don't know about HBCUs, we're going to educate you on HBCUs. That's important. That's important. You know,
it is important, Travis, for everybody out there to keep up with this, man. Let them know where they can follow this movement as we lead closer and closer to the game.
Well, I'll tell you, make sure everyone, first and foremost, tune in on Monday for the official announcement and release of the top 24 men and women basketball HBCU All-Star. You can go to HBCUAllStarGame.com. You can follow all the latest information. You can sign up for our newsletter to get all our information that's going to come out in the next few weeks. Follow us on all social media platforms, HBCU All-Star Game, HBCU All-Stars LLC. You can follow me at Travis L. Williams 24. I'm telling you, follow us on YouTube. Anytime you see our information, share it. It's important. This is about all of us. It's inclusive of all of us. And we want to make sure the world understands the importance of HBCUs. And now we're even global. I don't even know if you remember, in June, I took 10 of our All-Stars to Paris. So imagine after this All-Star game, we have an opportunity to take our All-Stars globally, Paris, to different places around the world, because God placed the vision in my spirit, say, hey, let's take it globally. We don't have to wait on anyone to come see us. Now the HBCU All-Stars movement is globally. From the opportunity, we had a chance to take them to Paris prior to the Olympics happening in Paris last year. So we just want you to, hey, I applaud you for bringing me on. And I appreciate the great work that you're doing to help push the narrative and doing the great things you're doing in this space. The time is now. We need your support.
But Travis, man, I appreciate you. For everybody out there, that's the voice of Travis Williams. He is the founder of the HBC Basketball All-Star Game. And as you hear, this year, women's going to be included in it. So, Travis, man, I appreciate you coming on this morning, man. And thank you.
Thank you, brother. See you soon, my man.
Yes, sir.
All right, take care.
All right, everybody, let's get ready to take a break, and we'll come back and get ready to close things out. You stay tuned. More to Jaguar Journal.
It's On the Yard Sports, and I'm Perry White, and what I need for you to do is go follow and subscribe to our YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, as well as Twitter right now.
Talk about offense, we talk about Southern, and it begins with their passing game.
Tom, beyond potent, we're talking about high octane, we're talking about fast break, we're talking about 41 points a game, some 500-plus yards since Terrence Levy has taken over this offense.
Because that young man doesn't drop any ball.
With the legacy that you started here, you got to feel happy to see it continue on with Doug Williams.
Ball now back at the 22-yard line. Levy, no pressure at all. Touchdown, Ingram. The Bayou Classic. Levy on a first and goal play. Throws a touchdown. Grambling comes with a blitz. Levy steps in the pocket. And his pass is caught. One-handed grab.
Sort of in the middle of the road of the SWAC, but immediately they jump on the Jackson State defense. And here's Levy rolling out. And the pass is caught. Ball is at the 31-yard line. Again, throwing the football downfield. Oh, and his receiver, Hayes, makes the catch. See you later. Touchdown, Southern. If you're going to get, I got some free tickets. Look out for it, brother. Going downfield. Oh, and what a play by Southern.
Score. He's played a lot tougher ever since. And this is a free play for Southern.
2nd and 15.
It's a free play.
Levy completes his
It's
pass.
a free play.
Oh, and he's still up.
It's a free play.
Hayes is going to continue running inside the 10, the 5. Unbelievable, Michael Hayes. 3rd down. And 23 for a first. Levy over the middle. Nice pass that time. 2nd and 20. Levy doesn't have to get it all, but he's going to have to pick up some yards. Here he is throwing. Nice catch made.
The receiver, Michael Hayes. There he goes.
Hayes makes the catch. Hayes still on his feet. Hayes looking for blocking. Hayes trying to find a hole. Hayes is still on his feet. He alley-oops. He's inside the 15 and drawn out a foul.
Touchdown.
Backfield. Plenty of time for Levy. Across the middle, has his man at the 15. You know, I don't know if you want to break the spirit of Terrence Levy or not. Here he wings one wide open down the middle, and a one-handed grab made.
The way. 3rd down and 4. And here's Lewis off the catch. Lewis still on his feet, and Lewis is streaking down the sideline. Touchdown. So they move back 5.
All right, we're back. It's the Jaguar Journal. Good morning to everybody. Glad to have you guys with us. I'm Perry White. Good morning to everybody listening on the 107.3 FM radio waves around the Baton Rouge capital city area. And everybody listening to us on our YouTube and Facebook Live. Glad to have you guys with us, whether you're listening to us live or you're going to listen to us at a playback or at a later time. Listen, great show today. Want to thank Taylor DeBoer from Southern University Athletics. She is the Assistant Director of Marketing and Development, coming up and talking to us about the upcoming Jag-A-Thon and the other events that they have coming up in the future for SU Athletics. Want to thank my 10th grade AP history teacher, Mrs. Mattie Collins, who is continuously doing what she needs to do and what she feels is put into her heart. And that's giving back to the young people in the community in which I come from. Gave you guys some insight in terms of a background on me and what she did in terms of influencing me to who I am today as an educator, and what she continues to do with the Ivory Center of Education, taking young people and culturing them and teaching them and to continue to take them out into the world and show them different places, different colleges, show them outside of what the norm is of what they only know within their neighborhood and their own communities. Want to thank Santoria Black, who's been calling the games on ESPN this week, all week, the men and the women games during the SWAC basketball tournament, where I am now in Atlanta live today. I'll be here for both the men and the women's game. And then my man, Travis Williams, the founder of the HBCU All-Star game. He said the men's game, as we've seen for the past 4 years, have rocked and rolled. This year, they're going to include and incorporate the women's All-Star game. So I want to thank him for coming on as well. Listen, Southern University fans, Southern women's team, the number 1 team in coming into this tournament, in the championship game today, taking on Alcorn State, who is the dark horse. Come on now, haven't I been telling y'all about this Alcorn team all year? Tell me I haven't. Each and every week I continue when I went through the SWAC conference standings telling you this Alcorn team has been the middle of the pack, but they can get it done. Southern versus Alcorn tip-off at 5:30 today. It's going to be broadcast on ESPNU. And on the other side, on the men's side, for the SWAC basketball championship on the men's side, it's going to be Jackson State versus Alabama State. So thank you guys all out there who have tuned in and listened today. I'm in Atlanta. I'll be back tomorrow. Hey, St. Patrick's Day parade tomorrow. So everybody, I hope you be safe and be ready to rock and roll tomorrow as well. Be sure to go hit that subscribe button on our YouTube channel. Be sure to like and follow us on our Facebook. Go hit that like and follow on all across social media, Instagram and everything else. X. Want to thank my man Mike holding it down in the studio. And I want to thank you guys for the support that you continue to give this show each and every week, whether you're listening on radio or whether you're watching on our YouTube and Facebook. Perry White loves you, and I appreciate you. Continue to support, and I'll continue to do my part in terms of bring you guys the best information of news that I can find when it comes to Southern HBCU, SWAC, and whatever else. So I hope you guys have a great weekend. Enjoy yourself. Southern versus Alcorn tip-off for the SWAC championship on the women's side, 5:30 today. So as always, I'll be back next week at the same time in the same place because it's the Jaguar Journal. Have a good day, everybody.
What's going on, everybody? I am Perry White. I'm the host of the Jaguar Journal. I want to make sure that you guys tune in live each and every Saturday morning from 7 a.m. to 9 a.m. on 107.3 FM. We also have our affiliates in Alexandria, Louisiana, as well as down in New Orleans. And if you're not able to catch us on radio live, you can subscribe to our YouTube channel as well as follow us on Facebook. It's the Jaguar Journal.